I realized this year, when Black Friday came and went, I realized that I finally have a thing. Like the things that my mom and her friends and anyone older than me had when I was growing up. I finally have a thing that I can look at a kid and say, you have it so easy. Back in my day, on Black Friday, you used to get your shit rocked. We would duke it out in the aisles, fighting like savages for a toaster that you couldn't afford the rest of the year. All you have to do is go click, 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 and then the deals come to you. Black Friday used to be an event. It was the closest that we've come as a country to the purge. You know what I mean? Because when you think about it, like, okay, you are a Best Buy. You are a Best Buy somewhere in America. You know that you got 100 people camped outside from the night before to get these TVs. You know 300 more people are coming to get these TVs. You know you only have 12 TVs. Why is there an inventory issue now? Do you know what I mean? This is the recipe for a riot. This is the exact equation. 100 plus 300 minus 12 is bricks. How did you not plan better? And then you'll know, remember the footage. We'd see the footage from Black Friday all over the country. People just wailing. People punching old people in the face. We were watching our society crumble. And like, there was never like a police presence. The first year caught us all off guard, all right? I don't even remember what year it was, maybe like 2006, whatever. First year that Black Friday came and it was like, everyone started fighting and everybody charging through to get in and stuff like that. It took everybody by surprise. I get it. The next year, you should have prepared. One day a year where we would just go absolutely batshit. You never saw anybody get arrested. They're on the news. Do you know what I mean? Like their faces on the news fighting, like fighting for the toy, right? And then like trying to hold on to a toy and they get their licks in between gripping and readjusting their grip on the toy. I wonder if now that it's so easy, now that Black Friday is just this formality where you just, click, click, get the deals sent right to your house. I wonder if anyone who engaged in the violence is embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like, because think about it, because you couldn't have known what the future was going to bring. But if you had just been a little bit more patient and let the technology catch up to the demand, you wouldn't have had to rock so many nanas. You know what I mean? And just telling that story makes me sound old because there are young people right now who will never understand what any of that was like, So now I'm sitting here, I'm talking to my grandkids, and I'm like, your Nana got curb stomped for me to get a PS5 because she loved me, all right? It's absolutely insane. Black Friday used to be such an event. There was one year when I still lived in Louisiana that day after Thanksgiving, me and some friends just went to the Walmart to watch. Because we got there a little bit before they opened. There was already a line, a couple tents. I was like, this is going to be good, all right? And then more people started showing up. We had no intention of going in, right? Just more people showing up. And I had locked in on this one guy that was like doing stretches. But he was doing the most inefficient stretches I've ever seen in my life. Because he was trying to do the hamstring stuff, but he was just popping it. He wasn't like holding it. He was like, I was like, he gonna get hurt. That's the one's gonna go down first, right? And then sure enough, they open the door and he got stands going. He's ready to get in there. And they open the doors, everybody rushes in. I don't know what he tripped on. But this man went down immediately. And then in the distance in the parking lot, all we could see is just every time somebody stepped on him, one shoe would go up. Like he was out here floating top to bottom. You could tell every time he got stepped on. I was like, I hope he's all right. It's been a while since I've been here. It's been a little over a year since I've been in Arlington. And in that time, I've been through some things. There's no good way to tell an establishment that you're in. And this is all over the country. There's no good way to tell them that the bathroom is out of toilet paper. It don't matter if you speak to the manager, just someone on shift. There's no good way to say y'all are out of toilet paper that make you seem clean, all right? Because you just trying to help. But when you walk up and say, y'all out of toilet paper, when you make a definitive statement like that, you're saying some things without saying them. And you making people wonder something. You making people ask questions about you as a person, because then that means that either you didn't wipe or you finished the toilet paper, which somehow still makes you seem nasty. Like, now we all know that toilet paper is not this like infinite resource that just goes on in perpetuity for the end of time. We know that eventually the roll will end, but if you the type person that ends the roll, what are you doing with your life? That rolls end when you go to the bathroom. Because when you think about it from their perspective, everybody else went to the bathroom and everything was fine. But then when you went and you came out, all of a sudden we don't have any more toilet paper in the building. Sounds like a you problem, right? I'll be vulnerable for a second. I was at a Denny's. I was at Denny's with some friends, and I went to the bathroom. And you never want shit at a Denny's. That's never the plan. That's never something you're doing on purpose. You know what I mean? That's either an emergency or you're trying to make room. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to go to the bathroom, right? I thought I could go ahead, I could power through, but in the end I was like, there's no way I'm hitting a grand slam with what I already got going on, so I don't want to waste food. Let me go ahead and go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and then I went to the bathroom, right? And I'm sitting there, and then I went to reach for and I didn't feel it. It was just air. It was like just air where there's supposed to be toilet paper, and it's such a natural motion that you're not even looking when you reach, because you know toilet paper is supposed to be there. Like reaching for toilet paper that's not there is like, you know, like when you pray and your prayer don't get answered, and you like, well, what is all this for? You know what I mean? Why do we have civilization? And so then I reach and I don't feel anything. So then, and I'm not even thinking about it right away because I'm on my phone. So then I just reach a little higher. So I'm like reaching a little bit higher. I still don't feel anything. It's still nothing but air. And it's such an odd feeling when you go for something that you think is supposed to be there and then it's not. Like, you know, like when let's say you're on your phone or something, you're not really paying attention, and you're walking up the steps, and then you take that extra step, but then there's no extra step because you're at the top of the steps, and then you go like. And you didn't trip. You did the opposite of trip. You're still upright, but you feel weird. You're like, oh, wow, that was odd. Okay. That's how it feels, because I'm sitting there and I'm reaching. And then finally I reach up and I feel raw roll. Like I feel the cardboard of the roll. So then, and I don't know why I did this, but like I even flipped it just in case something would fall. So I flipped it. I even heard the like, duh, 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 duh. Like it was truly nothing. This is a raw roll now. There's nothing on it. It's bone dry, right? And I don't even know why I did that, because it was instinctual though. I was like, there's got to be something here. Life isn't this unfair. You know what I mean? And so I did and you know, like when you walk into a room and you go to flick the light switch on and the lights don't come on. Now you know that if the lights don't come on, that the bulb is blown, but you will still sometimes turn it off and turn it on one more time, just to be like, maybe I didn't give the light a chance. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, let me go ahead, flick it off, flick it on, because that was my fault. I ran in here too quick. The light didn't even know I was going in this room. Let me give the light a chance to act right, you know what I mean? And then flick it on, flick it off. And then when it doesn't come on the second time, you're like, oh, the bulb is blown. But sometimes you just do it to be like. So I'm sitting there and now I'm panicking. Because what am I gonna do? What do we do now? Because the last thing I'm gonna do is stand up, put my pants on, walk out there, and walk up to someone and say, y'all out of toilet paper. That would be insane. But I also can't live here. And so I'm sitting there panicking, truly panicking. I know I'm panicking because I'm sweating. And I know I'm sweating because it's all over me. And I know it's all over me because I don't have anything to wipe it with. I'm sitting there, what am I going to do and everything? And then I see the door opens, right? And this Denny's had one of those like 2-bathroom, like stall, 2-urinal, 2-sink setups, right? And so somebody walks in, and when they walk in, I'm looking under the stall door a little bit. I see black shoes, and I'm like, okay, that's some hope. And then I look through the crack, and they're washing their hands, and I see a red shirt. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a uniform. That's an employee. I'm saved. But now I got to get his attention in the least upsetting way possible. Because you don't want to just be a disembodied voice in the bathroom going, y'all out of toilet paper. So then I'm in my mind at the time, in the moment, the only thing I could think to say was, help. Which as soon as I said it, I was like, that's not. Because now he don't know what type of help. Like, am I stuck? Is like, does he need an ambulance? Is this doctor help? And so I said, help. And he said, what? And I said, y'all out of toilet paper. And he was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, give me a second. I'll get you. Finishes washing his hands, walks out of the bathroom, and maybe forgot me. He never came back. That man never came back, right? So now I'm sitting in here, and I'm devastated, right? Because every second that goes by, I'm like, he gonna be back here any minute. Yeah. So I'm not even worried for the first whatever minute. And I know you're thinking to yourself, Josh, why is this story so long? Why didn't you just text one of your friends at the table to tell someone, hey, y'all had toilet paper? I forgot to mention earlier, my phone been dead, all right? My phone died when I was doing this. And so then I'm sitting there waiting. I don't even know how long. And then another person comes in, right? Once again, I see black shoes. Oh, look through the crack, red uniform. Oh, doesn't even seem like the person before. They're washing their hands, right? Doesn't even seem like the person before. And I didn't yell help this time. I had learned my lesson. So I was just like, excuse me, I know this is weird. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But y'all are out of toilet paper, and I've been in here quite a while. Because I didn't want to seem indignant. This is not this person's fault. But still, I've been in here for a long time now. Like, this person didn't come back for help or anything. This is very upsetting. Y'all got that A rating outside. I can turn to a C real quick, okay? I just want to let him know I'm in dire straits out here. And, he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then he went, and left, and then immediately came back. And this is how I can tell you he was a hero, right? Because on the other side of the stall, I can hear him picking at the roll, trying to get, because like when you start a new roll, how those first sheets glued, They like, it's insane. Why do you have to waste 9 sheets just to get the roll started? We've been to the moon, and we still have to rip up and throw away a bunch of sheets just get the first sheet that's usable, right? But then he ripping it up for me. I was like, this man's a saint, you know what I mean? And then we didn't know how he was going to get it to me because he can't just like lob it to me like that. Because this is heavy. This is industrial sized toilet paper. He will knock me out if this lands on my head. And so my man, I don't know. It was weird between us just because we're dudes. Like if this was a woman in this situation, all she would have to do is be like, girl, I have toilet paper. Be like, girl, I got you. And then, you know what I mean? But as men, we don't have a relationship like that. Like if there's any chance you about to see dick, y'all better been to war together. I'm not just seeing random penis. Even if you are my friend, we not that close. Like, no. Right? I'm not doing anything where I have a chance of seeing your... No, I don't want it. So then, my man, like the hero he was, he bowled to me. Under the star, I could see the trail coming, and it was hope. And I was like, yes. And then I grabbed it, and I picked it. I was like, bro, thank you so much. I'm so thankful. He's like, no, you good, dog. I was like, no. You don't understand. I was in here forever, right? Like, I was out here drying, dog. Like, thank you so much for saving me. You saved me, right? And he's like, no, it's really okay. I was like, no, I just want you to understand how appreciative I am. And he was like, bro, are you wiping? Like, are you still talking to me? And I was like, I'm sorry, man. I just really been here a long time. And it's like, I don't even know how long because my phone died and everything. I don't even think he heard that part because when I opened the door, he wasn't there. But yeah, I've been through a lot.
If I'm truly being honest with y'all, one thing I've not been able to stop thinking about is the tariffs. It's like is all I can think about because all I read about because it seemed like everybody is like, oh, this is bad. I know people who do not watch the news at all that are like, why is everything red? Did everybody change logos or something? Every time I turn on TV, everything red. What is that? My TV bleeding. Something going on. No, in case you have not been aware, in case you're trying to protect yourself and go about your day, there's been a bit of a trade war going on. The wildest thing about a trade war is that you are allowed to like, okay. I was trying to put this in perspective. Okay, you know how when you were like on the playground and you know, somebody would be like, my dad can beat up your dad. And you were like, oh, you think your dad can beat up my dad? It's like, yeah, I think my dad can beat up your dad. And then, you know, kid one over here is like, yeah, well, my dad goes to CrossFit. And, you know, kid two is like, yeah, well, my dad has been to jail. Sort of the CrossFit of life. So I bet you my dad can beat up your dad. And then, you know, other kid, CrossFit kid, dad is like, my dad, he has swords. He has swords, so you can try to beat him up, but he'll chop your dad up. And then kid two is like, well, my dad has guns. That's actually why he had to go to the CrossFit of life. It's because he has lots of those. A couple swords too, but he prefers to bring the guns when he has issues. And then, CrossFit sword, dad kid is like, yeah, well, my dad is 6'5", so he could definitely beat up your dad. And then, gun, jail. Kid is like, oh, my dad is 5'2", so he has quite a chip on his shoulder, so your dad will be dying. And that's kind of what a trade war is like. You know what I mean? It's like nothing has to happen at the moment, but it is a lot of being behind the desk like, I bet you my economy can beat up your economy. And And we know that Trump loves tariffs because even in his first term, he had a lot of tariffs on China for steel and everything. And he campaigned on tariffs and what he thought tariffs would do, at least what he says that they'll do for the U.S. economy in the long run. And so we know that he is serious about the tariffs. I think there were definitely some people that thought that he wasn't serious about the tariffs, and that was a mistake because he was very serious about the tariffs. He was so serious about the tariffs that apparently, now look, I'm gonna do my best here. I am both paraphrasing for the sake of brevity and going off of things that I've read and things that I've been told, and I am not an economist. So I'll do my best job, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna be wrong, okay? But I'm gonna be as close to right as possible on purpose. But apparently this man loves tariffs so much that right when he took office, there were economists, conservative, Trump voting Republican economists who, while leaning right, still understand the economy. They still, that's not a dig. I'm saying that the two things can exist together. I'm saying that they understand the economy and they vote the way they vote, but they know the numbers, is what I'm saying. Because I'm not an economist, they understand the economists, kind of. So they immediately went to work coming up with tariff plans, so that way, whenever Trump wanted to enact his tariffs, they would have the numbers ready, right? And so they did all the math, and they did all the going back and forth, and did all the figuring out that could be figured. You know, and then they went to Trump, and he wasn't happy with the plan apparently, because in order to enact the tariffs the way that he wants, the numbers, a lot of them at least, were quite small. So then Trump, paraphrasing, but he was like, what is this 1.7? What is this 2.8, these 2.3, this 0.8? No, we need big numbers. We need to impress the people. You gonna send me out there and embarrass me in front of America? I need big numbers. Get me some big numbers, which apparently is why when he walked out with that poster board, you know that, you saw the board, you know that board that, you saw that poster board, it looked like homework, right? Like that poster board. Yeah, poster board out, and he was going down the line, right? He was going down and just naming places like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, little bit of jelly donut, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, a little bit of chicken grease. That was not 100, that was a 10, 10, 10, 10, 94. You know, because he hit the world with 10% tariffs. If you were anywhere on earth, you could get this 10. Please don't think you can't get this 10 just because you uninhabited. Anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. Please believe me when I tell you. Anybody can get it. All right? You think you cute because you just got some little aminals on your little island? You still getting it. All right? We don't care. This is America. We do what we do when we feel like it. 10, 10, 10, 34, 10, 10, 10, 10, 78, 10, 10, 10. And it was perplexing. The economists didn't understand it. Top Republicans didn't understand it. Even the people that were in support of Trump and his tariffs couldn't tell you that they really understood it. No one really understood it because there wasn't too much to understand. Everybody who does numbers was like, ooh, this is not numbers. This is not the numbers that I thought it was when I thought They were on like CNBC, basically any money channel, any money news channel, when these tariffs went out, they were on there cursing live. They were like, fine us, we don't care, we're all gonna die. You think I care about $10,000? I'll throw you another couple. The dude who does the bleeps must have had money in the market because he was gone. They were up there cursing live. I couldn't believe it. Normally, you'd even see the blurry mouth. I saw them enunciate the swear words. I was like, okay. This might be bad then, if the people who do money all day are upset and they looking at the red and everything look upside down on the graphs. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go up like this. Yeah, I mean, you getting a little low, Dow. That Dow Jones was not playing. That Dow Jones was like, hey, I'm dead, y'all. No. Yeah, that S&P 500 was down to 5. It was bad. It's like these were rough moments we were in, and nobody really understood why. We lost $3 trillion of value in the market in a day. People were showing me pictures of the stock market and the S&P and the Dow, and then their portfolio, and I was like, man, we got to pick a different color, because that much red ain't good for your eyes. But yeah, apparently, there were economists that tried to figure out something that would do what Trump said they wanted to do, but he was like, no, I need to go out to the people and really make a statement, and I need to make a statement for the other nations so they take this thing seriously. So, 10, give me some 34s, give me some 55s, I'll take anything, just bring it all to me. And they were like, sir, that isn't math. That may not work, but Trump was so dead set on going to other countries like, you get a tariff, you get a tariff, you get a tariff, like an opposite Oprah, like a reverse Oprah. You get a tariff, you cry and take that tariff, right? And now this part, I hope, is not true. I'm repeating it because I've read it like in 5 different places. It's been told to me 3 different times, but apparently he sort of sent away the plan that the actual economists wrote up, and then he asked someone else to draw up a plan that would do the tariffs truly bigly, right? Like we really making a statement. And in doing that, they did apparently, I don't want this to be true because it means we're all doomed, but apparently they did ask ChatGPT what to do with which I don't know. I feel like even when they typed that in to ChatGPT, Chat was like, "You sure, dog?" Which is a fitting bit of irony, though. It is kind of funny to me that like ChatGPT wrote up a formula that was then applied that then tanked the stock of the company that owns ChatGPT. Like it's a beautiful little closed loop. But ChatGPT went ahead and did its thing. They asked him, hey, how can we tariff the whole world and not have everybody die? And ChatGPT was like, I don't know about the die part, but I will get you a little formula real quick. And it went, and then it dropped this formula. And that's the same formula that they've been showing. Now, this formula, it does have all the components of like a math equation. It's got the parentheses in there. It's got some X and some Y. Has a little cursive. It has that little squiggly thing for when you divide it, I think. It has everything that you've ever like looked at a meme about confusion that was coming at you. It's in there. It's all that stuff. All that beautiful mind drawing stuff is what's in the thing. It's got some tops. It's got some bottoms. It's got some other like little symbols rubbing together and everything. But apparently, when plugging in any type of numbers into this equation, they still got the math wrong. So no matter if this thing came from ChatGPT or if it came from some mathematic genius, when applied, it was still applied wrong because the tariffs more went towards the tariff amounts more went to trying to reciprocate the amount of money with countries that we had a deficit with than the actual like reciprocal tariff, if that makes sense. Like we applied that thing as if, oh, they're just tariffing us this much, so we're going to tariff them the same amount. But rather than actually doing that, we were like, here is some math just to make everybody confused real quick, and then we'll actually go ahead and slap a tariff on them for their deficit or for their surplus, which also does not make any sense because then we're both punishing people who buy a lot from us and punishing the people we sell to off the things that we sold them to make things for us, right? So it's basically like being in a bad marriage where like it's like being in a bad marriage where it's like, well, I don't know why you hate me. You married me. Like, I don't know. I'm just over here being your husband. I don't really get why you so mad at me right now. Ooh, you hate me, but you married me. Anyway. And so that is partially where we landed, which is distressing. You know, that first day, these tariffs get applied, the markets react and everything, and $3 trillion of value is just gone, sort of wiped out in the moment. And then the next day, it was worse, because the next day they were like, oh, we still doing it? Because we can get redder. We can get, oh, we haven't even broke out all the red in the crayon box yet. We can keep getting red. And then there was like another $6 trillion loss, like over time. But like we were at $6 trillion, I think, by like that Friday at 4 p.m. or something. And then we lost money over the weekend, which I didn't even think was possible. I thought the whole point of the market closing was to close. Don't keep counting. That doesn't feel fair to me, to keep counting even though we closed and now I owe more than I owed before. That's not fair at all. But then when Japan opened up and Japan was plunging about 8% on their market, and then our futures were also our futures, you know, the future, you know, the thing you're supposed to look forward to, that was also looking bleak for us. And then our market opened and the market was like, no, we still dying, dog. I'm not pretending. I'm not gonna pretend to know math. You know what I mean? I've met math. I've been affected by math, for sure. Math rules everything around me, yes. But when I tell you that the reason I don't want to hold like public office, I don't want to do any of that stuff, is because I don't want my math to affect anybody else, because I'm bad at it. I'm bad at math. The only time that my math affects other people's lives is when it's my turn to pay at dinner. And that is a bummer for everyone. That is, you can feel it. You can, okay. When it's my turn to pay for the check and I'm trying to, in my head, out loud, figure out the tip to then add I gotta divide to do the tip, and then I gotta add the number I just divided and then put that together and put that on the total on the merchant copy, all right? We're all up to speed. We've all been to a restaurant. But watching me do that it instantly feels like when the teacher would make you read in class, but you knew a big word was coming up. You had been trying to sound out this word while the teacher was talking about some other stuff, because you had already counted the paragraphs. The teacher making everybody go one paragraph for paragraph for paragraph, and you like, okay, I'm sitting here, which means I'm 8 paragraphs away. That's my word. Oh no! And so then you trying to sound out the word in your head, but you can't sound out in your head. So you're like, maybe I'm not even sounding out right now because my head is quiet. And now, and then they get to you and it's your turn to read, and you're like reading all good, killing it. You even sounding out the commas. You know what I mean? You see that comma and you go, pause. And then you finally hit that big word and you like, all right. Are you old enough now you don't want to sound like you sounded out, because everybody will think you can't read even though you read half the paragraph with no problem? You did mic drops on those periods. Anytime there was a period in a sentence, you were like, this good textbook right here. Yeah, what do y'all know about this English lesson, this Chaucer, okay? And then you finally get to the word and you're like, that's a cough. That was a cough. That wasn't even me reading just now. That's And the teacher goes, scrumptious. I was getting to it. I was getting to it. I was just trying to enjoy the word. I was trying to chew on the word. You the one getting all impatient and stuff. You trying to teach us patience. You're not even patient. That's me. Like, at least the closest I come to ruining everybody's life with math is when it's my turn to pay at dinner and I'm trying to factor out loud the tip and I'm... Hearing me try to do math in my head, hearing a grown man say carry the is not gonna inspire confidence in my abilities, right? If I'm sitting there with the, okay, and then you got the two right there, all right? Anytime I gotta do math without a calculator or a pencil, it's a whole conversation. I'm literally sitting there like, all right, so, you know, I'm gonna do 25% because she was killing it, all right? So 25%, that's even better because it's also a quarter. Now I just gotta break this down into 4 parts and then put that line there, right? So now all I gotta do is get you to be still, be still, be still, be still. Stop it. I'm telling a 6 to stop it out loud at the table. Stop moving, all right? So now we gonna carry the 3, and if that 6 will be still, I think we at 9. No, that's up. That's not even division. That's more. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna put a 4 here. And that 4 gonna slide up and trip that 5. Gonna kick the legs up under that 5. And then that's a 1. Why couldn't this be an even number? Why couldn't somebody just order the guacamole like I said? That would have got us closer. Okay, so 7 and 3, that's 10 anyway. So that's 10. So now we know we're gonna have a 2 in there. I know y'all want to go. All right? Get in the car then. Get in the car. I'll follow. Yeah. And then I get embarrassed. And so I just write the total twice. And then I'm like, at least if I tip 100%, nobody could be mad at me. But then I'm sitting there like, can I really afford this? Because then I got to get in the car and do the math in my head of my account. I'm like, all right, so we eating on Sunday, all right? Tomorrow is a business day. It's not going to go through till tomorrow. So if I add a 20 to the account, ooh, I'm overdrafting hard. Oh, I don't know what the number is, but I know that fee gonna hit. We're in a bad way. One of the biggest problems that I think is facing Americans and the country is that we don't have a sort of cohesive identity of care for each other. So, for instance, something could happen to a large swath of Americans, and there'd be other Americans that are like, good, I don't care, whatever. And I'm not saying any country is perfect. And I know that some of the countries I'm mentioning have at least a little bit of a homogeneity to them and everything. But whether you're Portuguese, you're Spanish, you're Italian, you're Brazilian, you're Mexican, when something happens and it happens to your countrymen, you see it as happening to your countrymen because they're all in a country together. They're all like in this thing together. I'm not saying there's not poor and rich and they don't have some of the same problems that we have. I'm not saying that factions haven't split people more than ever before, especially with the internet. I'm just saying that like they can look at a person they don't know and be like, that is my countryman, right? And we haven't had something like that for a long time. There are whole parts of the country that if you put them in a room together, we assume they would fight. We assume that it would come to blows almost immediately, just off of like, hey, do you want to pass the salt? Like, just like not even a political thing, just It would just happen eventually, you know? And I thought that the connective tissue that we had as a country would put us together cohesively was at least like capital. I thought it was at least money. I thought that money would be at least the one thing that made us go, all right, we should all stop and figure this thing out right now. If it's not money, I don't know what it is. Like visiting another country and seeing it doesn't have to be this way is crazy. I'm surprised that's what we're not allowed to do. I'm surprised we're allowed to still travel. Because if you go anywhere else on like planet Earth, and I'm not talking about every place, I'm just saying, there are places that you look around and you'll be like, y'all don't just punch people in the face for being broke? Y'all don't just... Wow, all right, crazy. Going to another country that's like functioning and seeing how they operate is like going to a functional family's house for dinner. Like, it's just, you're just sitting there astonished. You're like, everybody here? Everybody sitting at the table together? All right. Got mom, got dad, got kids, and invited me over as a guest, and y'all just all smiling. As the dad, you're just sitting there. You're just sitting there asking your kids about their day. Their day at school. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? You should be abandoning all of them right now. You should be abandoning all of them. You should be going to Vegas and putting it all on black, and then you win. You actually win. You doubled your net worth in a day, and then you put it all on red because you had a feeling, and then you lost it all, and then you're sitting in this casino's cafeteria where there's very nice food, but somehow it's still like a disgusting cafeteria, and you've got these crab legs and these lobster tails in front of you, but you're wondering what you're going to do after tonight because there's nowhere to go because you left home. That's what you should be doing. Not asking your kids, how was school? Like, and then the mom sitting here, mom sitting here, help dad cook the meal. They cooked it together as a family unit. You know, they didn't just fall into general norms. You know, they figured out that he bakes good and she makes great chicken, so she made the chicken, he baked some bread and everything, and it's all on the table together. They're watching their children eat it for the nourishment of their bodies. Food that they bought through the work that they do. They both work jobs. You have to be a 2-income household now. It can't just be one person working, and so they worked really hard and they bought that food and they cooked that food to the best of their ability, and now it's going to feed their children and give them good nourishment for their bodies, and they don't resent those kids at all, and that's crazy. Like, why aren't you looking at these kids like they ruined everything? Why aren't you telling them what you did before they were born? Like, as a dad, you should be telling them, I used to dunk. All right? I used to have a sick vertical, and then, you know, you came along and I was trying to put your car seat in the car and close the door too fast and slam my knee. I'll never jump again, but enjoy your baked goods. Like, that's the type of dad that you should be. Just over here smiling at them, watching them enjoy your bread. Oh, Dad, it's so good. And as the mom, you're over here working a job, cooking as well, and not resenting anyone here. You did a great job cooking rosemary chicken. It's delicious, succulent, not dry at all. How'd you manage that? How'd you manage not to dry it out? The rosemary's perfectly on there, and you shouldn't be here. You should be cheating. You should be cheating to give your kids something to fight against, okay? You want to make your kid a star athlete, you go out there right now and you cheat. You break up this family so that the only solace they can find is baseball, and then they just hit dinger after dinger every game because they're hitting their trauma. And then one day a scout from a good college, a college they couldn't possibly afford because it's not a 2-income household anymore. One of those colleges comes to scout this kid, and they're like, man, that kid's got trauma, talent. And we have to get him on this school's team, full ride. He goes from that full ride to AAA minor into the majors. And then one day they're interviewing him at the end of a game where he's hit the dinger that won them the World Series. And he's like, hey, I don't know where, I'm sorry, I'm getting so emotional. I don't know where like my mom and dad are, but just know that I love you and I hope you're watching. And I did this for you, okay? I did this for you. I love you so much. You should be doing that instead of just helping them with their homework. And the kids are like sitting there well behaved, which is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. They're not hitting each other at all. They're not trying to put a fork in the other's temple at all. They're just sitting there enjoying like mom and dad's cooking and everything, laughing at each other's jokes. Hey, I have a joke. Everyone cares. Like it's insane. You're sitting at a table as a family in America. This should not be happening, all right? You know, as the son, you should be sitting there yelling at your dad, give me back my skateboard or I'll kill you. Like that's more our speed, you know? And that's what it feels like to just go to another country and watch them go to the hospital when they need to go to the hospital. Like that's, you know, I mean, just watch social safety nets happen and have just like a general care for citizens and stuff. That's what that feels like when it happens. One of the things that makes it so bad is that we have this attitude because of the strength of the dollar and because it is the base of like the world's currency. Everyone compares their currency to the dollar, the strength of their currency, the strength of the dollar, and people would like to be paid in dollars, at least for now. And there's an attitude that we have as Americans that it has to be that way. That we don't know any other way, so it must stay that way. So it really doesn't matter what we do, but it does. It does. All of that belief, all of that standard with us as a standard is confidence. And if your partners lose confidence in you, it's not going to be good for you. If your confidence is waning because of moves that have been made and unpredictability, then people will try to figure something else out. That's a little terrifying. You know, I'm not an economist. I don't know how all of it works. I just know that you can only really bully the whole world for so long. Do you know what I mean? There was a flight a couple years ago where on this flight, this dude on the flight stands up mid-flight and is talking wild and reckless. This dude stands up and he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody in here, okay? All right, you're all gonna die. Do you understand me? Every single one of you is gonna bleed and die. And he's making all these weird movements and he is freaking people out and people are stuck in their seats. They're like paused in their seats. There's only one person who's like taking a little bit of cell phone footage of this dude because nobody knows what this dude is going to do, and he's getting up so confident and he's so scared because I guess he's like a bigger dude as well, and he's like, no, y'all are all going to die. He's clearly having like some sort of mental episode, but at the same time nobody can know how serious he is or like what his problem is or anything, and people are frozen in their seats, right? And he's like, I'm going to kill every single one of you. You're all going to die. I'm going to crash this plane. And then he tries to get into the cockpit as well. He can't get into the cockpit because that's locked. And finally, this dude goes into, I think it's his back pocket, right? And everybody's expecting a knife, a gun, and this dude has a spoon. And when everyone realized that all he had was a spoon, talking this reckless, they whooped his ass. There was plenty of cell phone footage of that. They were whooping this dude. I know they don't do it on flights anymore because people have allergies, but back in the day, they used to have peanuts on flights. And every once in a while, somebody would open the peanut packet too hard, and the peanuts would go everywhere. They go over the tray table, but then they go in the aisle, and they bounce all down the aisle because the plane was still getting some altitude and everything. And he kind of looked like that peanut. They were passing him around, beating his ass. They were really tossing him back and forth. And then he still had the spoon. Was like, wait. Man, that cracked me up. What? They made that man sound like tennis in there. That man, he was using the spoon a little bit. He was like, man. And people were like, all right, fingers and eyes. There were other people who never got the chance to beat his ass that just watched it with their phones, and you could see them just with the eyes going, ooh. And then they restrained him, and then they landed. Cops got on the plane like, damn. I thought we were whooping ass. This man tied down to the seat with seatbelts and duct tape and still got the spoon. And then in the midst of all this turmoil, all this red, Trump tweeted, or, great time to buy. That's the most unserious thing I've ever heard in my life. Honestly, look. Admit it for a second to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud, but just know in your heart, if this was any other country, you would be laughing your ass off at that. That is very, very, very funny. That is so inappropriate and so funny at the same time. It's basically like somebody driving the car towards your car accident going, wee! And then, because we don't have a serious system, because we're not doing things the way that maybe anybody should do them. Somebody from Trump's administration, I'm pretty sure his cabinet, and I don't want to say the wrong name, but just know that they're in his circle. They went on, maybe it was CNBC, it was one of the major news networks, and they were asked by the anchor, hey, do you think there's any possibility that all these tariffs, all this stuff going out is really just to raise the alarm bells, and that there's a possibility of a sort of 90-day situation, just like with Canada and Mexico? And then that guy said, yeah, the president's going to decide what he wants to decide. He's going to do what he wants to do. But then, off of that, you heard me when I said, yeah, the president's going to decide what he's going to do, Yeah, just off that noise, that noise right there. Yeah. Someone clipped that and tweeted the yeah. And then they said that there was about to be a 90-day pause. And then the market went up $3 trillion because we are not really here, I guess. Like, that's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. I knew money wasn't real before, but I didn't know. That's a noise. He didn't even give it a full yeah. $3 trillion from yeah, right? And then it went back down again because the White House came out and was like, we never said that. And so it dropped all the way back. And then like 2 days later, Trump reversed he reversed the 2 days later, he was like, yeah. He reversed the tariffs, and then the market shot up like $3 trillion again. I'm starting to think the market only understands $3 trillion. And I'm not saying I knew it would happen. If I did, I would have made a lot of money, like some of those people that are potentially going to be investigated because they had calls on the market for 2,000%, and then they very rich. Trump even pointed one out. He was like, that guy made $9 billion whatever he said. And yeah, I'm just saying, I didn't expect it. I did not expect there to be a ton of follow through in that. Like I'm just saying that when I'm not saying I believe everything he says. I'm saying I thought he believed what he said when he said it. I thought, look, I'm not saying I believe when he says the thing. I don't know if I believe it. But when anyone says what they say, you would think that they would know if they believe it or don't believe it because they said it, because they're alone in there with their head to say it or not say it, and then to know if they're lying or not lying. But then I was not in his head, so I'm like, I don't know, right? But I thought he would know whether or not he meant what he said anytime he speaks, just for himself, not for us. I understand the man can lie, but this in your head just for you is where I don't think you should be able to fool yourself. I don't think you should be able to trick yourself that way. If you said it, you alone in your head in your room of one should know what you mean when you say it. And I know that doesn't make sense, but it makes as much sense as the tariffs, because it is in his head by himself. So, all right, yeah. That was the thing. That was the thing. And then he, reversed the tariffs on a bunch of countries, except he increased the tariffs on China because they had increased the tariffs on us in the wake of that thing happening. So then it was really just, my dad can beat up your dad. I didn't forget you from before, so just know that my dad can beat up your dad. And then China was like, you don't, look. China made a statement early into the little tariff trade war where they were like, if the U.S. wants a trade war or any other type of war, we're ready and we'll fight to the end. And that's a lot. That's a lot. I thought we were talking about numbers, and that's another place to take it. And then Trump raised it to like almost 150% on, and this is my thing. I'm not an economist. I don't even know math. But can we at least keep the percents in the 100, please? You know what I mean? Because we're getting into some dangerous territory. The only other place that percents have gone over 100 and has been bad for people in this way is Maury. Maury had people on that were 1,000% sure, and they could have been more wrong. They could not have been more fundamentally incorrect. One of my favorite, in case you're not familiar with Maury, in case you have not been blessed with the afternoon programming, the after school watching that was Maury, there were episodes of Maury. Maybe my favorite episode of all time was white woman, white man, black baby, fraternity episode. That was art. So white woman over here, and she's like, that's his baby, Maury. That's his baby. Why won't he take care of his responsibilities more? Okay, so we dated for a while. We would hook up from time to time, and then we broke up. So I was out. You know what I mean? I saw some people, but that's his baby. Look at it. The baby got a head. He got a head. That's his baby. All right. And then I never thought that I would have to say it this way, but then this poor white man had to, in real time, navigate making sure everyone understood he was not the father while not saying anything horrifically offensive. And to his credit, he really kept a cool head and did his best. He was like, okay, look. We all God's children, all right? Okay, and I mean this with no disrespect to the African American gentleman baby or the community at large, but he and I are not kin. And then Maury, who is normally the voice of reason, who you think would have his back, says out loud, you don't think this could be your child? And this man is sitting here like, Maury, don't make me say it. Are you serious? Look at the screen. And then he read it out. He was like, the DNA results are in. He pulls it out of the envelope and he goes, when it comes to the case of 2-year-old Dalmon Travius, Mike, you are not the father. And of course she was like, and she did 6 backflips and ran outside. And then he went, yeah, I know. Y'all be blessed. And that's my thing. It's like if you're gonna be more than 100% sure, you have to be so sure. You have to be right. You have to be correct. And China came out with a statement. I think it was today. It might have been yesterday. I don't know. I just saw it where they were like, due to the U.S. Tariff raise, we will be raising tariffs 125%, and any other raises the U.S. will do in retaliation will be inconsequential and will be seen as a joke in the history of economies. And I'm just saying, maybe you don't want to get into a math contest with China. Y'all been fantastic. Thank y'all so much. I've admittedly, I have a lot of gripes. I hate revolving doors. There's just, the door is fine. A door is good enough. A revolving door is just trying to be fancy and complicating everything along the way. It doesn't even feel like the revolving door should have been invented. Revolving door feels like it actually came first. Like whoever invented the wheel was like, hold on. Wait, I think I'm cooking right now. And then someone came along and made a door, like a regular one that just swings one way. And everybody was like, yeah, let's just do this. I live in New York and there's a lot of revolving doors and it can be very high stakes. It can. I don't know. Look, all of us have different abilities, and whenever people are a bit older or aren't as spry, a revolving door is basically double Dutch for them. All right. I've seen it. I've been looking at people looking at the revolving door like, just worried. You can see it in their eyes. And then they let extra slides go because they're like, I didn't like that one. I didn't like that one. No, that one trying to ruin me. I'm gonna let that one go. Got the revolving door cut into these slices of pie. I went through a revolving door. I thought, hey, it's the way out. I have to leave. It's the way I came in. There's not another option somehow. And then I got in the revolving door, and as soon as I got in, I felt something. Almost immediately, I got in and I felt something, and it was slower to push, and so I didn't know what was going on. And then I turned around, and a man got in my slice with me. This grown man went ahead and was like, and now he in there with me. Oh, it was upsetting. I was over here because now I can't even move like I want to because my legs are bumping into his legs. This was some sort of assault because do you know what I mean? Like front thighs should be touching back thighs like that unless we know each other. This is crazy because I can't even move like I want to because then it's backing up against him. He rubbing up against me. This was very upsetting. And then we stop. Then I can't even go any further. Like we fully stop. And he's like, go. You're not gonna hop in my slice and rush me. I'm also trying to go. I wanna go. You have no idea how little I wanna be here right now. Ooh, I wanna go so bad. You're not supposed to be in here with me. You should be in, you had a whole 3 other slices to get in and you chose my slice. And so now we can't go at all, and I'm pushing. And then he over here tried to help me push. Don't reach over me, sir. And we're pushing, and we can't go, and then we hear, and it's because we enclosed somebody in the revolving door. Because someone else with no sense of timing or distance management tried to jump in the revolving door and got chopped in the middle. They standing right in the middle of the revolving door. Got them over here like this. And every time we were pushing, we were closing them in it again and again and again and again. And I don't know why they didn't scream. They just over. That's the closest I've seen somebody act like a video game where I'm like, no, you have agency. You should be slipping one way or the other. Devastated. Then he over here turning around looking at that dude. Back up! I hate revolving doors so much. I hate revolving doors too because sometimes I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. You get in, you push, right? We all know how they operate. Except for that one at the airport that they have started doing. This is a crime. Some airports in America, supposedly land of the free, have installed revolving doors that revolve when they want to revolve. You get in and you step in. No one has told us why they're doing this, by the way. It's one thing if you're going to be openly corrupt, but to install revolving doors that nobody can operate, if you push it, it'll stop. It'll get an attitude with you. If you get too close, it's like, well, I'm not going anywhere at all, and neither are you. How about that? Like, I hate this revolving door so much. When I want to go, I should go. It's a revolving, they're supposed to move. And over here, they'll have the instructions on the glass. Getting too close will cause the door to stop. You're not my daddy, all right? You're a door. You do what I say to do. And so then you get in one of these, and obviously nobody fully understands. They didn't make an announcement. I didn't see any local news. I was like, hey, the airport gonna have a new door. You kind of have to use it because the regular door is locked for some reason, and you can only, the only thing I can think of to use revolving door for is that it does help keep the weather out. Like if it is really cold, every time you open a regular door, draft comes in, everything, revolving door keeps it cut off. So that, hey, fair enough. Fair enough. But it's May. You could argue the weather will not get better than this. And you got this thing, stop it. And so I'm used to it now. I fly enough that sometimes I get in there, I see it, I'm already upset. As soon as I see it, because it's not like a regular revolving door, 4 slices, it's only got 2 slices. This is the in slice and the out slice. And you walk up, and every time I enter one of these, I'm entering it with someone who has never come across it before. And so every time I walk into one of these revolving doors, I gotta warn the person that's about to walk past me that they are about to walk into the glass. And you're about to walk into the glass takes too long to say. So I usually go, and then they walk into the glass, and then the glass stops, and then we live here now. No, I can't stand a revolving door because then also, look, I am my size. This is it. I weigh what I weigh, and I'm the height that I am, and then, the rest of my life is going to be accepting myself. But when I get in a revolving door and I push, because of how I'm pushing, I understand the pace that the door is going to go. It's responding to my push. Even when I push with other people, as long as they're around my size, that's fine. We're all pushing together, all right? We're like doing that thing that they used to do on the ships in the movies when everybody was turning something together. We're in a communal effort to get out. But every once in a while, someone much bigger, much stronger than all of us. Just, one of those people that walks around, oh, did I rip the telephone pole up? I have no idea. I'm just a giant. Every once in a while, I get into a revolving door with one of them, and they'll be in the one behind me. They'll be in the slice behind me, and then they push, and then I get pushed so fast, so hard, that I don't get to leave. I literally see the outside, and then I get whooshed past the outside because I didn't have time to get out, because they so strong that they basically turned this into a regular wheel, and so now it's spinning. You don't ever want to be pushing a revolving door and then have the other side of the revolving door hit your back, and now you're along for a ride. It's infuriating. It's stupid. I don't like it. This is a very confusing time too, because we don't know what's happening. Sometimes I'll get on the internet, the World Wide Web, and I'll try to express to people in other countries, we don't know. We don't know what's going on either. I know y'all confused. We confused too. You confused? How you think we feel? We live here. Oh, it's coming up. It's almost our 250th birthday. As a country, it's almost 250, and I don't know if you ever met a 250-year-old, but we seem kind of like that. I've met someone who was 100, and I was like, ooh, time beat you down. Do you know what I mean? Because at 100, you're sort of like, you're like not sure. Like at 100, you're like, am I ever gonna die? Like this is. At 100 years old, you feel like you're just not on the list or something. Like this is. Don't get me wrong, 100 is a blessing. It's a blessing to live so long and see the world change so much. If you are 100 years old, the world has been getting progressively better since you were a kid. When you talk to people who have relatives that are like even in their 90s, and they ask them what's the thing that changed their life the most, they have wild answers. They'll say stuff like running water. These people were alive for amendments changing, and they're like, yeah, but the water come right to you now. You meet someone who's 100, and they're like, look, everybody I know is gone. Everybody I loved died a long time ago. I don't know what I did. I almost feel cursed. I didn't know eating this many vegetables would do this to me. I had no idea. Listen to me. Everyone that I love is gone. And then you're like, well, I'm here. I barely know you. Which one are you? Because here's to be fair to them, once you get to great grandchildren, you can't be expected to remember those names. That is unfair to that person. That person has lived easily like 89 years. They're not going to remember every great grandchild, and there's no way that every great grandkid is gonna like spend enough time with them that they're able to tell them from like anybody. You know what I mean? So you're talking to your great, maybe even great. I don't know how long it takes to get to 100. Maybe you got 3 G's on it, and they're telling you, "Listen, come closer." If I don't go soon, you do what needs to be done. You're like, great granddad, I can't. You can't ask me to do something like, of course I can ask you. I don't remember which one you are. You can't ask me to, of course I can ask you, just do it. How would I even do it? And then they over here, because they in one of those like beds, you know what I mean? Once you hit 3 digits, they put you in that bed and they're like, you really don't need to get out. Like, there's nothing for you to do. We'll go ahead and bring everything to you. Don't stop. You've been bending knees for a century. That would be unfair to ask you to get up and grab the remote. Go back, because I don't know if you've seen like 100-year-old person's bed, but it's state of the art. No, they look like Professor Xavier in there. They got a button for everything. How would I even do it? And then they over here like what does that mean? What are you trying to tell me? Just flip the pillow. No, I can't do that. Of course you can. Look, I fought 2 world wars. I fought in both world wars, all right? I didn't kill people. I wasn't even sure if they were on the other side. I just did a lot of killing. Yeah. And if it's that bad for someone who's 100, imagine somebody that's 250. That's what we're like. 250 years. Wow, and we can't even agree on history. You know, depending on which state you go to school in, you get some very different history lessons. There's some that'll tell you like the whole history of the country, which is, it's as checkered as any other country. We're just more sensitive about it. No matter where you go, if you actually learn the history of any country, there's been brutality of person to person from the beginning of time. We're not exactly special. We did do some things way longer and worse than other countries. But every country is going to have parts of their past that they're ashamed of, and then whether or not you cover that up will show your character as the people leaving a legacy behind for the people coming up behind you. But you know, you'll go to some places and they'll be able to tell you. These kids will be able to tell you. As long as ChatGPT didn't do their homework, they will be able to tell you the history of this country. And then you go some places and you're like, I don't even think what you're saying was written in a book. I think you just glomming on to certain parts based off of what little information they gave you. It's like, oh yeah, you know, the Mayflower got here, and then all the pilgrims were like, oh wow, no one's here. And then they built a bunch of log cabins, and then something Abraham Lincoln, and then out of nowhere, Abraham Lincoln, he liked to go to the movies too much. So he was at the theater, and then one of the actors was like, stop leaving bad reviews. And so they popped him real quick. And then, you know, he never yelped again. And then fast forward a little bit, and then this really nice guy, Martin Luther King Jr., died for everybody's sins. And so now everything's fine. And you're like, which part of Florida are you from? This is very curious. I'm confused. I'm very confused. I'm sure some people don't even know to be confused. There's a very puzzling thing happening right now where there's a lot of events coming up. There's going to be a ton of celebrations, and nobody really knows how or why or which are going to be the ones they want to attend, because there's a thing called America 250. America 250 has been planned for like a decade now. It was put together by Congress, and it is a mix of private citizens and lawmakers coming together to have like a, completely nonpartisan celebration of the country and its 250th birthday. And there's like money that they've set aside, and there's all these things they plan to do. And then there's a thing called Freedom 250. And Freedom 250 is basically supposed to be all that stuff, but it is Trump doing it. And so then it's just funny because it's like we were already planning a birthday party. It's one of the Trumpiest things to do for Trump to be like, I'm planning a birthday party right next to your birthday party. I bet you everybody come to my birthday party. It's like, all right, you could have just supported this one. No, we got to do it my way. And true to like Trump branding and marketing, it is confusing. And then Freedom 250, they had a big bash plan, like a big old concert. They had plans. And when I tell you they were bringing the heat, these people, for Freedom 250, they weren't messing around. Freedom 250, they were like, we need the heavy hitters. Y'all ain't even ready for the names they booked. Y'all not ready. Freedom 250 lineup gets announced. And they have Milli Vanilli. Yeah, you heard me. Milli Vanilli. They booked Vanilla Ice. That Vanilla Ice. They booked Flo Rida. They even booked Young MC. White people, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be candid for a second, be vulnerable. I also didn't know who Young MC was. Like that one does get a pass. They announced this lineup and like, they even booked Bret Michaels. You know Bret Michaels from that one and only VH1 show where he was trying to find love. It was like The Bachelor, but sadder. They announced this lineup, and honestly, it was a moment of unity. It was a moment that brought people together across both sides of the aisle. I'm talking about Democrat, Republican, progressive, conservative, leftist, centrist. Everyone came together to say, what is this? What?
What? Y'all booked Milli Vanilli. And sadly, one of them has passed, so I don't know. I don't know if that's Millie or if that's Vanilli. And then people start pulling out. People start pulling right out. They were like, oh, wait, we were misled. We didn't know. And look, admittedly, they didn't know the difference between America 250 and Freedom 250. They were like, we were told, when our agent sent us the email, we were told this would be like a state fair type of thing. We didn't know that it was going to be this thing that divides people and this like Trump back thing that, you know, to his credit, young MC was like, I can't be a part of this. Bret Michaels backed out. He was like, hey, yo, no. Flo Rida stayed. Vanilla Ice also. And Milli Vanilli. To be fair to Milli Vanilli, they don't have much going on right now, so they're kind of. But how fitting? How incredibly fitting for Trump to book Milli Vanilli. If you're not familiar with Milli Vanilli, they were like a pop duo. Huge. They had that one song. And look, they were two gorgeous men over here singing, we thought. They were over here singing, and look, I've seen the clip, but I admittedly don't know the song. I don't know if the song is actually called Girl, You Know It's True, or if that's just the part that skipped 85,000 times. Because they already had the dance number like fully choreographed and everything. And they're like, girl, you know it's 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 girl. And then everybody that was there was like, wait, what was that? Is that the remix? What? And then they were exposed for not being the ones actually singing. They had been lip syncing the whole time. And honestly, there was in entertainment, it feels like that moment was a little bit of like loss of innocence of the audience. Like up until then, maybe this was happening all the time. I'm sure it was, where like a singer would get sick and still need to perform, and so then they'd sing to a track, or they'd be having a backup track that was way louder than them. I'm sure that there are people who had Milli Vanilli-like careers and never even got caught, because maybe they didn't get popular enough, or maybe they just lucked out and they never had a track skip moment like that. But it's so fitting that someone like Trump would see Milli Vanilli and be like, yeah. It's like, it's irony on the level of a film. Because Trump has a very Milli Vanilli career himself. He's had plenty of Milli Vanilli moments. You know? Who would have ever thought that this huge global pop sensation actually wouldn't be singing their song? That actually sounds insane if you were to guess that before it was exposed. And likewise, Trump has had many
Milli Vanilli moments. Who would have thought an American president would ever look right at the sun? I feel like right about then, even if you voted for Trump, you should have been like, uh-oh, that doesn't seem... Somebody had to yell, Mr. President, don't look at the sun. To a man that is grown and the president. They got Flo Rida. Flo Rida's like, Flo Rida's known for that, like apple bottom jeans, you know what I mean? Yeah, that one song. He's known for that one song. You know, some would call him like a one-hit wonder in a way. I haven't kept up with him enough to know if there are other hits that have happened since I was in high school. But maybe there have been. But you could even, to a degree, call Trump a one-hit wonder. There was that one time that everybody liked him when he was in Home Alone 2 for 3 seconds. Do you know what I mean? If that had been the end of his career, we'd be like, Trump pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, no, he is. He pointed right there. He pointed right there. And then Macaulay Culkin walked over there. He did just what he was supposed to do. Makes sense that Trump would book Vanilla Ice. You know? Every time I see Vanilla Ice, I have a similar reaction to when I see Trump. They're mysteries to me because when I see either one of them, at any point, I always ask myself, what is he doing? What is his plan? I look at Vanilla Ice Rabbit exactly like I look at Trump talking. I'm like, what is he saying? What is... And then people start pulling out. Trump was furious. He was like, I tricked these people fair and square. How dare they pull out like this? You fell for a ruse. I can't believe you wouldn't honor your word. And so then Trump said, hey, you know what? We don't need these third-rate artists. Which is such a funny insult when you booked, like you... The only thing I've seen that's exactly like that was one time. One time I was at the mall and this guy was trying to throw some game. He was shooting his shot at the cashier who was working at the Corn Dog 7. All right, and I think in his mind he was like, she already working at Corn Dog 7. I could show her a better life. And so, you know, he was throwing his game down hard. He was over here like, what you doing? What you doing? And she was like, working. Just for all of us as men, if you ever get a one-word answer, it's probably not going to happen. Don't put yourself through the struggle. Because you know what she knows what he's trying to do. He knows what he's trying to do. But also, one-word answer, it's not exactly conversation. He's like, so what you doing? Working? Okay, well, you looking good. I mean, you looking very good. Look at you. And she went, my uniform? And he was like, yeah, but you know, I bet you look good in anything. Yeah, you know, I just noticed you over here, so I thought I'd come over and say hi, you know. See if I could brighten your day the way you brighten mine just by shining in my direction. Yeah.
Trust me, I was watching. Try to get his attention, like. You know what I mean? I hate to see a slow train wreck, you know? Like, a fast one's interesting. You're like, wow, that came out of nowhere. A slow one is just like, hit the brake, hit the brake, hit the brake, hit the brake. And then, and then she was like, so are you gonna order something? Or... Mind you, there's no line. It's like, so you gonna order something? It's like, yeah, you know. I was looking at all these numbers up here, and I was really just hoping I could get yours. Now at this point, I have left my seat. I'm now off of this peripheral, like. And then he was like, yeah, I was hoping I could get yours. And then she said, I don't have a phone. Which is a hard, that is, you know, people always tell you when they're trying to give you confidence, when you want to approach somebody and, you know, ask them out, that the worst thing they could say is no, but I don't have a phone. In a year that starts with 2000 is a little worse than no. And so then she's like, I have a phone. He's like, oh. I'm sorry. Wait. Don't make me laugh. Wait. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I'm so serious. Okay, wait. It's like, I have a phone. And then this dude went, oh, maybe I could write you. And I'm not, now at this point, I'm down on one knee, basically begging, like, stop! And she like, oh, because to be fair to her, I'm sure she thought the I don't have a phone thing would stop 99.9% of humanity. So when he asked if he could write her, she was like, oh, I'm unhoused. I don't know what to tell you. And that was when he caught on. That was when you saw a switch where he was like, oh, she doesn't want, I'm being rejected. You see it, you know what I mean? I was close to him by now. I was in line now. I was in line looking over his shoulder, and you could see in his face that for the first time it like clicked. Oh, she doesn't like me, she's not interested. So you saw this dude just like sit with it for a second. Nod his head. I think his lip quivered a little. And he was like, I'll love you, and then walked away. And that's the same energy Trump had when he was over here tweeting third-rate artists over the people he booked. That's insane. Third rate, you booked them. And so then he said, you know what? I don't even need these third-rate acts, all right?
I mean, I know I can book somebody right now. We got bigger numbers than all of them. I can book somebody right now. Got more numbers than all of them put together. More numbers than Elvis. When he said more numbers than Elvis, I genuinely, for a quick second, because the movie is out and everything, I actually wondered if he genuinely thought Michael Jackson was still alive. Like. No, that would be the most Trump thing ever, to have like all these people pull out. Bret Michaels pull out, all these people pull out, and then turn to somebody and be like, "Get me Michael Jackson then. We're gonna show everybody." For a second, when I was reading his post, I was like, I think he thinks, because these are already a lot of artists from like a 90s, early 2000s type era. I'm like, I wonder who he's talking about. And then he was like, yeah, I get somebody, got more numbers than Elvis, could pack a whole arena. Me. Because that's not the only thing happening. That Freedom 250 concert is not the only thing happening. There's also UFC Freedom 250. Sorry, and this is a weird thing for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of conflict in me with the direction that UFC has gone. For me, as someone who watches like mixed martial arts and stuff like that, I watch boxing. I watch like MMA, Muay Thai, I watch like karate tournaments, wrestling tournaments. I just like combat sports, which always surprises people in a way that's offensive. I tell people that I watch MMA and they're like, you? As if there's some sort of barrier to entry to watch. It's just on. I'm just using my eyes. I didn't say I do it. I tell people I watch MMA and they're like, they look at me like I just did a somersault. They were like, oh, okay. Didn't know you had it in you. But I watch a lot of it because here's my thing. I think that you can become genuinely invested in a person and their story, not just their skills. At the end of the day, all of combat sports is testing yourself and your skills against someone else and their skills. So I'm not like bloodthirsty. I'm not looking to see people have like lifelong injuries or anything like that. I think that the contest is interesting. And I think that these people, when you get to know them, a lot of these fighters are so much like the people you have in your life, and most of them are genuinely fighting to give their family a better life. You see the stories, and obviously there are some fighters that get really famous and we get to know them really well and we get an understanding of who they are as people, and then there are other fighters that come and go and we never really get to know them like that. But you can get incredibly invested. I've been invested in MMA for a long time because I always have a deep respect for people that can do things that I cannot do. Like I look at when I was a kid and how I was bullied. And then you look at a fighter like George St. Pierre, who was also bullied when he was a kid. But he got into karate and mixed martial arts, and this dude became a world champion. He turned all that bullying, all that pain, I'm sure a lot of that fear about the next time he'd be confronted, into something incredible, into something really inspiring. And then there's people that maybe they don't become world champions, but you just see them in one fight. You could see so much of yourself in them. Like there's a fighter, I might mispronounce her name, I'm not trying to, but her name's Shi Ming. And Shi Ming's this tiny woman. I don't even remember what weight class she was fighting in, but she had what I believe was her UFC debut. And she got in there, this tiny little woman, and she fought her heart out. She fought with so much precision. It was genuinely astounding. She won by KO through a head kick and knocked out her opponent. And then they come to her for the post-fight interview in the octagon. And she had one of the sweetest voices. They asked her how she felt about her fight, and she was like, And your heart just melts as soon as she starts talking. They're like, how do you feel about your fight? Congratulations on your win. And she's like, I think I showed too much mercy. Mind you, her opponent left the octagon on a stretcher. So I'm sure if I was her opponent and I was laid there, I'd be like, what else could you have done? But that wasn't even the most astounding thing about her. Not that she was small or that she could fight so well or she had such a cute voice. Because later on in the same interview, she was like, yeah, a lot of people worry about me because I have bad eyes and I'm tiny, but in here I'm the boss. Which is chilly. But that's a thing that you can really connect with. You can really see yourself in that thing, being underestimated. And then proving that your skill is not to be taken lightly. It's an amazing thing. And the most amazing thing about it, when you really get into the story of the person and not just a fighter, is that you see that KO wasn't even the most interesting thing about her. This woman was a doctor. Yeah, she's a young doctor, just became a doctor, and her parents had no idea she was fighting. They found out with us. Imagine watching your daughter go to medical school, become a doctor, you go to graduation, everybody happy. She does her residency and everything. Is your daughter MD on a diploma? And then one weekend you flipping channels. And you see somebody that look like your daughter being interviewed by like Michael Bisping and saying, I think I showed too much mercy. And then a woman in the background just laid out. I think you'd be like, did she go to medical school just to know where to hit people? Imagine now, you fighting this young lady. Maybe it's this other person's debut too. We only really talk about the winners. We only really focus on the winners. Maybe it's this person's debut too. And they lose. And they put just as much in. They put just as much heart. They have skill. They've worked on their technique, but then it happens. Sometimes you lose. And you get the brakes beat off you. And then it's to the point where you lose bad enough that everybody, including your coach, is like, don't move. And you're like, don't worry, I wasn't gonna move. And then they actually carry you out of the octagon in a stretcher and take you to the hospital. And when you open your eyes, you see the woman that knocked you out standing over you. Nah. Nah, if I woke up and the person that knocked me out was also my doctor, I'd be like, I think I'm good. There was even a time where I felt like all my friends were rediscovering or discovering for the first time the UFC in the pandemic, because when the pandemic hit and all these sports were just closed. They were like, we'll figure out what we can do, but right now we can't. Because fighting it's a team sport in theory. You have your people behind you. You've got your cut man, you got your trainer, you got your strength and conditioning coach. You have as many people to help you as you can afford or as are willing to help you. But at the end of the day, you got to be out there. And so what they did, UFC was, I believe, the first sport to come back. And what they did was they were able, through people's teams or just people being willing to be by themselves, made these bubbles. They made these like quarantine bubbles that people would stay in, and then they started to make fight cards. But because they could only have so many bubbles, and because it was hard to get travel, and it was even harder with travel just because of the pandemic, there were some people that got to fight like 4 times in a year, easy. They could turn right around in a fight that they hadn't been injured at all and fight again.
This is something that's very difficult because normally when everybody's willing to fight, everybody's clamoring for a fight, it's hard to get booked again. But you saw people become real stars in the pandemic because they were able to fight 4 or 5 times in 1 year, which is crazy. The other thing that happened was that now, because there were no crowds, they were having these televised UFC events. But for the first time ever, you could hear through the camera that was shooting the show. Usually it's too loud. It's like an arena show. People are screaming, coaches are screaming. But for the first time ever, you could hear what the fighters were saying to each other the entire time. It was like a crazy, different experience. I don't know if we'll get something like that back fully, because it wasn't even something they planned for. They weren't like announcing it as some sort of feature. It just was what happened. And it was in that time, watching fights in the pandemic, where you could hear the fighters, that I realized how much like us, like me, they are, even when they're fighting. We imagine these people fight like out of a movie where nothing hurts until they walk back to the locker room or something. But these people, there was one fight where it was a striker versus a wrestler, and the wrestler went in, took this dude down, and we all heard him go, "Oh, you strong." He was on the ground trying to get up, and the dude was trying to like climb him to get mount and everything, because then there's no getting up. And as he's fighting to not let this dude mount him, and as dude's fighting to mount him, you just hear him go, "This sucks." I watched a heavyweight fight. I watched this heavyweight fight. Heavyweight fights are always tense because anything could happen. One shot, one punch could knock your opponent out. These are big guys. Even in their technique, like the people who are wrestlers, if they take their opponent down hard enough, they might knock them out just like that. And I saw this big old dude just go for it, because some of these guys, the way they're built, they don't always have the best balance. Sometimes you can see them throw a kick and they look worried. Like a heavyweight will throw a kick, and unless they are like one of the agile heavyweights, while they're throwing the kick, you can see in their face where they're like, "This is it. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna spin right around." But you saw this guy throw a kick to the body, and you even heard, because once again, you can hear everything better. So you even heard the pop of him connecting, kick that dude in the side, pow. And then the fighter that he kicked went, "Oh. There was one fight Kevin Holland was in, who he has incredible striking. Kevin Holland's fights are always entertaining to watch. He's an incredible fighter. But there was one fight where he was getting wrestled hard, and he was having trouble getting up from round to round. And because you could hear everything, you heard him turn to Khabib Nurmagomedov in the middle of the fight. He's got a corner, but he still turned to Khabib and was like, "Do you have any advice?" "Do you have any, look, I'm about to go back in. Say something." And I'm not gonna lie, that's exactly what I would be doing. If I survived one round of an MMA match in the UFC, I would immediately turn to everybody. I'd be looking at the crowd like, "Do y'all have any ideas? Y'all need to hurry. It's 12 seconds left. Say something quick." And now they're bringing a UFC event to the White House lawn. They're gonna fight on the lawn. They're gonna fight on the lawn at the White House. They're gonna fight at the lawn. They're gonna fight on the lawn at the White House. No, I just want you to hear how it sounds to the rest of the world. They're gonna fight on the lawn at the White. First of all, I didn't know the White House had that much lawn. They're gonna fight on the lawn at the White House. Who is the president is? Gonna fight on the lawn. You know, it's like, and it's like they shouldn't just have a fight. It shouldn't just be a fight. There should also be like a Buick on blocks. No, they're gonna fight on the White House lawn. You know the White House. No, you know the place that he already tore up. They're gonna fight in front of a torn up White House. They are gonna make Washington, D.C. look as Oklahoma as possible. You got half the house demolished. You got a fight on the lawn. And look, I watch UFC from time to time. I love MMA. I watch a lot of MMA. But this is unnecessary. It's also a bad idea because it's an event outside, and there was just a shooting at the White House outside. This is why nobody believes these when they happen. No one has any like level of care or discernment or anything. That's why you look at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. There was a shooting, and then they continued the dinner. I've never had dinner good enough for a hot bullet. I've never been mid-meal and then had to leave for a shooting. You saw it was a shooting at the White House, and it completely. No, we just don't mind anymore. That should be a big deal that there was a shooting at the White House. Hey, you saw every single one of those reporters had a different reaction. There was one reporter, you heard the gunshot, and look, you're a journalist, and you cover the president, so you should know what a gunshot sounds like by now. And so everyone had a different reaction. There were lots of people reporting White House in the background, and you were hearing the pops, and it was like 30 pops. You can't slam a car door that many times. You saw one reporter was over here as soon as the pop started. To her credit, as soon as the pop started, she was like, I really don't care about this job like that. And she went ahead and got off camera, moved out the way. She was done. Like, you go look at the footage, she was gone. She was like, nah, I'm good. I can do something else. I look good on camera. I can do plenty of other things. I talk well. And then there was a reporter. This man tried to keep reporting. You could see where he short-circuited a little bit, because he was gonna try to keep reporting, and then he heard like the 28th shot, and he was like, never mind. Like, this man was up here like, today Democrats called out the pop Supreme Court for pop. You know what? And then he took the mic off. Why take the mic off? Just move. The mic is not weighing you down. Shooting on the White House lawn, and then you had that one reporter, pop, and then she was like, what is that? You know you've lived a good life when, as an American, you don't recognize gunfire. What is that? What, do y'all hear that? What is... When she leaned her head out, I was so mad at her. I don't even know her personally, but I was like, no. We don't check for gunfire head first. Over here. What is that? And then someone said gunfire, and she was like, oh. Oh. We got this UFC event on front lawn. Freedom 250 concert. Confusing everybody. It's so insane. This is so stupid. This is like remarkably stupid. This whole thing, it's like, I get it, it's 250. You gotta celebrate, but not like this. Not like this. Is like revolving door level stupid. This is the most infuriating. This is so dumb.
Nothing.